Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm host David Chilekwa. Today we are going to look at what we call parabola. A parabola is a curve which has to do with quadratic functions, and we are particularly going to look at a sketch on how to answer the questions which have to do with parabolas out of the sketch quadratic functions, which most of the times they come in paper 1. In the next video, I'll also make a video where you have to sketch a particular graph of a quadratic function. So the question is, the diagram shows the graph of the function y is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 15. The curve cuts the x-axis at A and B and the y-axis at C. This is the diagram. So now, of course, I know you're anxious and you would like me to just get straight to the solution, but I would like us to discuss or to go through some of the key points you need in order for you to work out these questions. It's not just a matter of you memorizing or get to see how I'm working out the question. I would love you, the viewer, to also understand the concepts behind these sketched graphs, so that whenever you face any question which has to do with this, you won't have problems, but you will just go right into it and work out the question. So please, I'll just take a bit of something, just a little. Fine, for example, some of us who don't know, we don't have good accents and we don't know that much English. We grew up in an environment where we are using a local language, Bemba, from my country, Zambia. So, now, the key points. So what is it that you need to know in order for you to work out these questions? The first thing is you need to know the x-intercepts. What are x-intercepts? So the x-intercepts are the points at which a graph touches the xy plane. So in this case, you can see that A and B is here. So where it is cutting the x-axis, those are what are called x-intercepts. And we usually find them by setting y to be equal to 0. We usually find them, the x-intercepts, by setting y is equal to 0. Why do we set y to be equal to 0? Because at any given point along the x-axis, y is equal to 0. And this graph is intersecting with what? The x-axis. So that's the idea. Then the next thing which we are going to, another key point is the y-intercept. Just like the x-intercept, you realize that the y-intercept is where the curve cuts the y-axis. And when you look at this diagram, where it is cutting the y-axis is at the point C here. So this is the y-intercept. And how do we find the y-intercept? We find the y-intercept by setting x to be equal to 0. And why do we set x to be equal to 0? Because at any given point along the y-axis, x is 0. X is 0. And in some other cases, you are going to find that we can just assume that the constant, always the constant in the function of the quadratic function, E always gives us the y-intercept. Well, we are going to see when we set x to be equal to 0 what is going to happen. What other thing do you need? You need to also know about the turning point. The turning point helps us to find either the minimum point or the maximum point. And these same maximum and minimum points can also translate to the minimum value or the maximum value. The maximum value. And how do we find these minimum and maximum value? What helps us is by setting x. Is equal to negative b over 2a. And sometimes you also need to know the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry. So you realize that there are certain questions where you are going to be asked to find the equation of the axis of symmetry. Again, the axis of symmetry is found by using this equation. X is equal to negative b over 2a. So this equation also helps us to find the equation of the axis of symmetry. So take note of this. So now where do we get the letter? So why is this man using the letter a and b? We get it from the equation because any quadratic function, the standard form of the quadratic function is ax squared plus bx plus c. That's the standard form of the quadratic equation. So always, whatever sits in front of x or the coefficient of x is what is going to be our b value, and the coefficient of x squared is what is always going to be our a value. C symbolizing the constant. So these are the few key concepts or key points I really wanted you guys to have a to have a grasp of it, so that you can easily work out these questions. So now let us now get to the point and work out the question. So now let us get on to it. So we have been asked to find the coordinates of B and C. So in order for us to find B and C, the first thing we are going to do is to find B. Now the only way out for us, because B is one of the x-intercepts, we are going to set y to be equal to 0. So let us just write down this. We write down the function y is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 15. So we set y to be equal to 0. So when we set y is equal to 0, this equation is going to become like this. So now, how do we solve a quadratic equation? So we are going to solve this quadratic equation by using the factorization method, of which we have the product, sum, and factor. So how do we find the product? The product is found by multiplying the coefficient of x squared times the constant. So here we have got 1, the constant is negative 5. 1 times negative, sorry, the constant is negative 15. 1 times negative 15 gives us negative 15. The sum is the coefficient of x. So when you look at the b is the sum. So here we are going to factors. So those factors are the numbers which, when we add them, they should be able to give us the sum, which is 2. And when we multiply them, we multiply those two factors, they should be able to give us negative 15. So what numbers are those? In this case, when you multiply 3 times 5, we get 15. But we need to have a number which is going to give us a sign, so that when we multiply them, they give us negative 15. I'm going to give 3. Why? Because 5 plus negative 3 is going to give me positive 2. So those are the two factors. Then substitute. Again, these two factors, they split the x value, or the value for x, the sum. So we have 5x minus 3x minus 15 is equal to 0. So from here we can see that we are going to factorize this part, and from here to here. So here, what is common here is x. Remember, with x plus 5. Again here, we factor out the negative 3, so that we remain with x plus 5. Please, you have to take note of the fact that once you factorize, or whatever we do here, they should be able to take us back. Even here, they should be able to take us back. Once we realize that we can't go back, it means that we may have gone somewhere wrong. So here, what is common on either side of the minus sign is x plus 5. Then we remain with x minus 3 is equal to 0. So from here, using the product rule, either x plus 5 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So this gives us x is equal to negative 5, and this gives us x is equal to 3. So these are the x-intercepts. Now, we have to take note of the fact that A is on the negative side and B is on the positive side. So we won't consider this, but concentrate on the positive number, which is 3. So 3 is representing B. So what would be the coordinates for B? So B would be 3, like as we have already discussed, at any given point along the x-axis, y is 0. So we have found the coordinates for B. Then, having done that, what we do next is now to find the y-intercept. Like I said earlier on, the y-intercept is always the constant, or we can find it. How do we find it? So let us get on it. So substituting for x as 0, so 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 15. So from here you can see that 0 plus 0, there where there's 2 times 0, we are going to get 0, minus 15, we are going to get negative 15. As we have discussed earlier on, again, at any given point along the y-axis, x is 0. So 0, negative 15. So we have found the coordinates of B and C. So what do we do next? So the next thing we have to do is to find the maximum value, of which I've also talked about, on how to find the maximum value of a given function. So as we have discussed earlier on, in order for us to find the minimum value of a function, we make use of x is equal to negative b over 2a. We have the function y is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 15. So in this case, our a here is 1, our b here is 2, and our c here is negative 15. So we substitute. What is our b? On the formula we have got negative. Our b is 2 over 2. Our a is 1. So this gives us negative 2 over 2, which gives us negative 1. So now we substitute this negative 1 in the function. So y is equal to negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 minus 15. So this gives us positive 1 minus 2 minus 15. Negative 2 minus 15 gives us negative 17 plus 1, it will give us negative 16. So the minimum value of y is negative 16. So they asked us to find the minimum point, we would have just combined these to be a point like a coordinate. So this is how you work out any question in which you have been, like the question has already been sketched. I hope you have been able to enjoy and understand the key points which relates to this type of questions. And I'm looking forward to meet you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.